everybody from sunny Galway, and look at this for a church. Look at this. Beautiful, absolutely beautiful. We're here in Galway. We made the trip over yesterday from Dublin. 2 hours and 37 minutes, and you're on the complete opposite side of Ireland. It's fantastic, and what a beautiful day we've been treated to. And I know in the UK it's lovely as well. I'm sure Australia and America, for some of my international viewers, are also fantastic today, because you're always getting fantastic weather out there, aren't you? As Gabe continuously reminds me. But we're back here talking the next game week. We're talking Burnley, West Bromwich Albion. We're talking Sheffield United, Bristol City. We're talking Leeds United, Millwall, in a critical game week, I should say, in the football calendar. And a game, in my opinion, a game week where Leeds United have the easier fixture, in my opinion. Now, that's no disrespect to Millwall, but I think when you look at the quality of the rest, I think it's Leeds have got probably the easier fixture right now, and there's a bounce back. It has to happen this week. We're at a period right now where it's 76, 76, 74. That's not what any of us wanted in terms of closeness. You know, an nice 79 and a couple of dropping of points. You know, Burnley Stone 71 would have been absolutely lovely by the end of the weekend. But as Leeds United fans, we know we never do things the easy way. So it's gone into this game week now where Daniel Farke's got some big decisions to make. He did get me thinking the other day, are we, what's the correlation here, everybody? Preston, Portsmouth twice, Sunderland, Hull. What are we talking about here? These are all big Elan Melee mistakes. I don't want to single an individual out because, when you kind of look at the collective, it wasn't good enough at the weekend. What can Elan Melee do about Joel Peru missing 2 sitters? Well, for me, Joel Peru this season, being the top scorer in the division, has got a bit of credit in the bank. I'm not sure the goalkeeper has, again. And could it come down this season to a tale of 3 goalkeepers, 2 of which are elite at this level, 1 of which is a bottom level goalkeeper at championship standard? And it did get me thinking, because I keep going on about goal difference, but how incredibly well this team has done to get this side to a plus 50 GD goal difference with this goalkeeper. It's unbelievable. It is absolutely unbelievable with the mistakes this goalkeeper has made. And we suffered another one at the weekend. Look at this, by the way. Lovely. Quaint. What's going on down here? We got another one. Got a swan in there. Lovely. But is it, I'd like a swan-like performance from some of our Leeds United players tonight. Elegant, classy, and ultimately coming away with the 3 points. It's nervy, isn't it? It is nervy, and this is what I mean. I'm looking back at Elan Melee, and I'm looking at these situations. I'm looking at the fact the manager just hasn't dropped him, has put faith into him, and I'm looking, the faith's still been in him again after him costing us. Again at the weekend. Michael Cooper goes down to Portsmouth earlier on in the season, makes 2 massive saves for Sheffield United. Elan Melee had an okay game, and then right at the end had a huge opportunity. Well, in the 60th minute had a huge opportunity to make a big 1v1 save. Fluffed it. Second-guessed himself again. Came out. And I tell you guys, if he hadn't have hesitated there, he'd have got to it. That stride pattern, he'd have got there above Bishop, 100%. Or at least closed him down with his big frame. And he hasn't done that, and he hasn't saved Leeds enough. And I just wonder if it's going to be a tale of 3 keepers. We get to the back end of the season, and we've done incredibly well when it comes to goal difference, but ultimately it's not been enough. And I don't think that will happen. But Daniel Farke continuously going with this guy, and me coming on here and justifying the likes of Carl Darlow getting any sort of minutes, he's just getting a little bit tedious now with 10 games to go, and he's not going to do it, and I understand that, but how many more mistakes have we got over a 10-game period? That's my next question. How many times have the outfield players got to bail this goalkeeper out? And you look at that Portsmouth game, I'll mention this again. Joel Peru, Sam Byram, big chances, Junior Firpo. But I would argue all of these players have got credit in the bank. Elan Melee hasn't, and he hasn't for 5 years. Had some people call him the best goalkeeper in the division, even last season, including the manager. So it's not just about singling this guy out, but what it is about doing is it's enacting change at key points right now. And I think the manager's got to do that. He's got to make big decisions. He's in charge of the biggest club in the division. And that comes with pressure, mass pressure, huge pressure. Leeds are falling apart again, Joy Division. You had the Portsmouth social team putting it out. You had, you've got every content creator just begging for it, absolutely begging for it. From every club as well. It's not. It feels like every club. I mean, we are one of the most hated clubs in the country. It's insane, and we love it. We absolutely dine out on it because what's the point in being a club that's irrelevant to other clubs? You want that hidden spice, don't you? But this running, I've mentioned earlier on that this is maybe an easier game week for Leeds. You've got the others playing up against West Brom and Bristol City. You've got Burnley playing a West Brom side without a leader in Darnell Furlong, someone who scored against Leeds United. You got red carded at the weekend. You've got Sheffield United up against a resurgent Bristol City this season. But then you've got Millwall coming to Ellen Road. And I'm expecting us to win this game. I really am, and I think we will win this game. But the worrying side of it is it's not just going to be a normal Millwall. It's not just going to be a normal Millwall. It's not a normal Portsmouth that at the weekend. I mean, you went online and everybody's going on about the atmosphere and everybody's going on about how good Portsmouth were. And they were excellent. 3-4 key players out. Fratton Park bouncing. Is it like that for any other game? I just don't think it is. The greatest of respect is Fratton Park like that for Burnley. Is it like that for Sheffield? I don't think it is, And that's with the greatest of respect, but Leeds just seems to be this cup final, and it's coming to the fore right now. West Brom coming to Leeds at the last weekend, absolutely dining out on a draw, and fair play to them. And if they can get a draw tonight, it would be unbelievable. But Leeds have got to deal with the pressure, and the young lads, the new lads as well. Ramazani, Solomon, players of that ilk. Joe Rothwell, he did it last season with Southampton. But he's got to be a key figurehead in this running. But can the players deal with the pressure? Because at championship level, relatively, this is the biggest pressure you'll get. Leeds falling apart again. Can you take this giant back to the Premier League? That's the question. It's a massive, massive period. So, a lot of questions. Can Bristol City do something? Of course they can tonight. Once again, I was watching the Sheffield United game at the weekend, and they were decent, but Bristol City could have got back in the game. They were unlucky. They hit the post, couple of okay opportunities, penalty waved away, which should have been a penalty for me. But now we're looking at these other teams now, aren't we? Burnley up against West Brom. West Brom have got to put up a bit of a fight. Burnley a little bit more free-flowing right now when it comes to scoring. 2 4-0s in the past 6 games. I think Edwards, I've done a video on Marcus Edwards on the second channel. I think Edwards has made a massive difference to that Burnley style of play, by the way. It looks like the shackles have been released a little bit. But what does all this mean? What does all of it mean? It means nothing. Leeds are still top of the division. We've accrued a mass points total because of our incredible defence and our style of football, which means that we just take the ball off the opposition. But Sheffield United defence has been incredible this year, but they've had a goalkeeper who's been at this relative level very, very good, as a Burnley. That's why I do look at this Leeds United defence, and I think it's the best in the division. I think it's the best in the division because you've not really got a goalkeeper. You haven't got a goalkeeper you rely on. So, it's big decisions to be made. I think when you look at Brendan Harrison, there's a massive question there now. A massive question. When you look at keeping him in this side. Ineffective in 2025, ineffective in his last 5 games. But apparently we can't change him. We can't change him. Farke apparently is hinting that he should have had another January signing. Well, it's interesting how this comes out now, isn't it? If Daniel Farke was indeed hinting towards having another number 10 in January, it's interesting how this just comes out now after we've lost the game. Do you know what I mean? Deal with it. You got the best squad in the division, mate. Oh, we don't have a recognised number 10. You got players who can play there. Deal with it. And you've shown that, by the way, by bringing Joel Prue in the 10 and putting Matteo Joseph up top, which at least stretches the game. If that is the insinuation from his press conference yesterday, I don't want to hear it. Now, I think Farke's done an excellent job this year, but like he's done at Norwich before, I don't want to start seeing excuses come out now. I want to start seeing a valiant Daniel Farke who's coming and saying the right things, A lot of Leeds fans coming out yesterday and saying, what's he insinuating something at the board? And I did get that. I thought something quite similar when I was watching it, to be honest with you. I don't agree with him whatsoever, by the way. He's got the best squad in the division. Leeds have got the highest wage structure in the division. Everybody keeps saying, oh, well, we've got the best squad in the division. We get out of January. It's just an excuse. It's an absolute excuse, for me anyway. I've told you guys the one place, and it's irrelevant right now, but the one place I would have improved would have been obviously the goalkeeper if I was to do anything. Central attacking midfield, it's fine. It's absolutely fine. You just need to drop Brendan Aronson. But for me, he won't do that. And why won't he do that? That's my question. Because you're not going to get any more players right now. Obviously, the window isn't open. You're trying to prove a point. Are you willing to go that far that Brendan Aronson in certain phases could cost Leeds United? Is that how far you're willing to go to prove a point? I don't think Farke's that petty. But if he is, well, it's just going to cost him his job at the end of the season. So what is the point? You know, you've seen a more effective number 10, even if it has just been in little phases, with Peru in that 10 and Joseph in that 9. So I don't know. I mean, look, you can go to different things as well. I've mentioned this several times before. Some people agree, some people disagree. You've got Nonto, Solomon and Ramazani, who can all fit in some sort of intertwining 3. You've got James there as well. Oh, he's got more than enough. You know, the number 10 in a Daniel Farke system has always fallen short to wingers anyway. Always been the case. Cantwell fell short to Buendia. It's always happened in a Farke system. So, look, I think it's just excuses at this moment in time. That's not from Farke, but I think it's almost like, well, we are where we are in the division right now, you know, which is top, by the way, which is fantastic, but us dropping off a little bit is down to us not getting a 10. That's absolute rubbish. Absolute rubbish for me. But it is what it is. Look at this, by the way. What a fantastic painting this is. Or a bit of graffiti. Amazing. But do you know what? I'm gonna be positive. And I have been positive this whole season, really. But I'm going to go with a positive sort of prediction for tonight's game and then for Leeds United's game. I think he's going to stick with the same 11, but I think he's going to make changes. The changes will do it again. I think the changes should be on at the start, and then you can bring Brendan Aronson on to change things if it's not working, you know. But I don't think he'll do that for whatever reason. But for me, Leeds going to beat Millwall, and it's going to be 3-2. Very, very tight game. But then I'm going to predict a West Brom draw tonight, which this could be completely irrelevant tomorrow, by the way, but I'm still going to go with it. I'm going to predict a West Brom draw, and then I'm going to predict Sheffield United to win that game against Bristol City. 1-0 again. So that's what I'm going for. I'm going for Leeds to end their game week still on top, both on 79, and I'm predicting Burnley to fall short, like we did against West Bromwich Albion. So I think the game week's going to end 75-79. 79 with Leeds still top and a 4-point difference. Let me know what you think in the comment section below. Like, comment, and subscribe. What would you do? Let me know. See you in a bit.